You've probably felt it before. The cycle of visualizing a dream so vividly that it almost feels real, only to find yourself stuck in the same reality day after day. You close your eyes, imagine the details, feel the emotions, and for a fleeting moment, there's a shift, a spark, maybe even a glimpse of what could be. But then it fades, and you're left wondering why nothing seems to move. This is where most people get caught, because we've been told that if you just visualize strongly enough, the universe will deliver. Yet the truth is that visualization on its own is not enough, because the universe doesn't respond to pictures in your mind. It responds to the vibration you hold in your body. Visualization is like sketching a blueprint, but a blueprint isn't a house. The reason it feels like your vision is powerful but not landing is because the signal you're broadcasting every day doesn't match the vision you're imagining. You can see the future you want, but if your baseline energy still carries doubt, fear, or lack, then the field mirrors that back instead. This is why visualization feels inspiring but temporary, while frequency is what makes it real. The hidden code behind manifestation is not found in the number of times you visualize, the affirmations you repeat, or the vision boards you build. What truly shapes your reality is frequency, the steady signal you carry into every moment of your life. The universe is not decoding your words or listening to the sentences you say in meditation. It is mirroring the energy you embody when no one is watching. That signal is made up of your breath, your emotions, the way you react to challenges, the way you treat yourself, and the choices you make each day. When those pieces are fragmented, when you think of abundance but act from fear, or when you dream of love but carry rejection in your heart, the field reads the incoherence and reflects that disharmony back. The code is coherence, the alignment of mind, body, and soul into a single frequency that communicates clarity. In that space, the universe doesn't hesitate, because your signal is no longer mixed or unstable. It becomes magnetic. The hidden truth is that you are not sending requests to a distant source. You are broadcasting a vibration that the field can't help but mirror, because energy always seeks resonance. Stepping into a new frequency feels harder than simply imagining it, because your entire past has conditioned you to wait to prove yourself, to earn what you desire. From childhood, you've been taught that dreams come after effort, that worth comes after sacrifice, that you must first struggle before you can deserve. This programming has wired your nervous system to feel safe only in the familiar energy of not yet. So when you try to embody the feeling of already having what you want, it feels unnatural, almost like lying to yourself. Your body resists because it hasn't learned how to feel safe in the vibration of fulfillment. That's why visualization feels easy but embodiment feels heavy. Your mind can imagine a possibility, but your body still clings to survival mode, still prepares for disappointment, still vibrates at the level of lack. The difficult part is not that your vision is impossible, but that your nervous system needs to be retrained to believe it can be real. This resistance is not proof that you're failing, it's proof that you're stepping beyond old programming. The discomfort is simply your body catching up to the truth your soul has always known. When nothing around you seems to change, the natural impulse is to wait for proof before you believe, to wait for signs before you trust. But this waiting only reinforces the idea that what you want is still far away. The real shift begins when you decide to become the evidence first, when you let your vibration lead, and allow the physical world to catch up. This means carrying yourself like someone who already has the life you've been imagining, not out of pretense but out of alignment. You stop focusing on what is missing and begin noticing what is already here, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts your signal, presence stabilizes it, and from there the field starts to bend toward you. Instead of chasing outcomes, you become the person who lives them. Each thought, each reaction, each choice becomes an opportunity to strengthen that frequency. You no longer treat your dream as something to pursue but as something to step into with every breath. In this space, you aren't proving anything. You're remembering. And as you embody the vibration first, the evidence naturally follows, not as a reward but as a reflection of the signal you've already anchored. The field doesn't respond to your goals or intentions. It mirrors who you are in the deepest sense. You can dream of abundance, visualize success, or ask for love. But if your identity is still rooted in fear, scarcity, or self-doubt, that's the frequency that radiates outward. This is why desire alone creates frustration. It generates a signal of longing, not fulfillment. When your identity contradicts your desire, the universe reads the contradiction and reflects back uncertainty. But when you merge the two, when you align your identity with your vision, the field receives a clear and stable broadcast. If you think abundance but live as someone who fears spending, the vibration transmitted is fear. If you dream of love but avoid intimacy, the vibration sent is resistance. Desire without identity is like noise, scattered and unfocused. Certainty is the real magnet, and certainty comes from embodying the version of yourself who already lives the reality you seek. The field responds to coherence, not craving, and that coherence begins with who you decide you are right now. Living from the end is not about pretending or forcing belief. It's about stepping into the identity of the version of you who already exists in the timeline of fulfillment. Neville Goddard described this as imagining from the end, Joe Dispenza as firing and wiring new patterns, Greg Braden as emotional coherence. But the essence remains the same. You stop trying to become and you start being. When you live from the end, you no longer ask when or how, because you've already claimed the energy as yours. This isn't denial of reality. It's an alignment with a higher truth that your nervous system hasn't yet fully caught up to. You train your body and mind to recognize the state of completion rather than longing. This is not something that happens once, but something you return to repeatedly until it becomes your natural baseline. Each time you choose to walk, speak, and feel from the identity of already, you reinforce the signal. Slowly your system begins to accept it as truth, and the field begins to rearrange itself in response to the coherence you've created within. Acting as if has often been mistaken for pretending, but it is not about faking confidence or wearing a mask to trick the universe. It is frequency training, the practice of aligning your actions and body language with the energy of already having. When you act as if, you stop waiting for proof and you become the proof. Every small choice becomes a declaration: how you wake up, how you dress, how you respond when good things happen, whether you receive them fully or question if you deserve them. Each micro-action tells the field what you believe to be true about yourself. If you were already successful, how would you carry your posture? If you were already loved, how would you accept compliments? If you were already abundant, how would you spend your time? Acting as if is not about performance, but about aligning with the frequency of certainty. By moving, speaking, and choosing like the person who already has it, you teach your body to embody the signal. And when your body believes, the field cannot help but mirror the frequency it consistently receives. Coherence is the point where thoughts, emotions, and actions are no longer sending mixed signals. It is when the energy you broadcast becomes steady, powerful, and magnetic. Many people visualize abundance but live with a nervous system still in survival mode, creating static in the signal. The universe doesn't interpret dreams, it reads coherence. When your vision and your vibration align, when your thoughts match your emotions and your actions reinforce both, the frequency becomes pure. This purity is what allows reality to respond in ways that feel effortless and synchronized. Coherence is not about constant perfection, but about consistency, returning to the signal again and again until it stabilizes as your baseline. In this state, you no longer chase opportunities. They are drawn to you. You no longer push against life, because the field bends naturally toward clarity. The more aligned your inner world becomes, the more your outer world reflects it. Coherence is where manifestation stops being an idea and starts becoming inevitable, not because you forced it into being, but because your frequency left no room for contradiction. Gratitude is the amplifier that stabilizes your frequency, a way of signaling to the field that you already recognize and receive. It shifts your focus away from what is missing and anchors you into what is present, which harmonizes your energy with abundance. When you feel gratitude deeply, your nervous system relaxes, your heart opens, and your signal becomes coherent. This isn't about making lists mechanically or forcing yourself to feel thankful for things that don't resonate. It's about slowing down enough to notice the subtle evidence already here. The breath that fills your lungs, the opportunities that arrive unexpectedly, the moments of peace between chaos. The more you give attention to these frequencies, the more your body learns to sustain them. Gratitude communicates to the universe that you are already aligned with receiving, because only someone who has can give thanks. In this way, gratitude is not just a practice but a frequency stabilizer, a way of keeping your signal steady even when circumstances attempt to pull you back into lack. It becomes a reminder that your reality is already unfolding, and that each moment you feel it, you strengthen the connection to the timeline you desire. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the thread that keeps you anchored in the vibration of your desire even when physical reality has not yet caught up. Without faith, your signal weakens, because doubt scatters the frequency. Doubt tells the field that you are unsure, and uncertainty is what it mirrors back. Faith, however, is not blind wishing. It is a deep inner knowing that the reality you seek already exists, and that your alignment with it makes it inevitable. It doesn't mean you never feel fear or question the timing, but it does mean you return to trust again and again until it becomes your resting place. Faith is what allows you to continue acting as if, to continue embodying the frequency, even when your senses are still searching for evidence. It is the inner conviction that reality bends to coherence, not to struggle. Resistance is the natural friction that arises when your new vibration collides with old programming. It shows up as self-doubt, procrastination, fear of failure, or even sudden chaos in your environment. Most people interpret resistance as a sign to stop, but in truth it is proof that you are expanding beyond your current identity. Your nervous system is wired for familiarity, so when you step into a higher frequency, the body reacts as though it's unsafe. This is why resistance feels heavy. It's the old self trying to pull you back into comfort. The key is not to fight resistance but to recognize it as a signal that you are crossing the threshold into new alignment. Awareness itself begins to dissolve its grip, because the moment you see resistance for what it is, it loses its power to disguise itself as truth. Each time you lean into the new vibration despite the pull of the old, you rewire the system. What once felt impossible begins to feel natural, and resistance transforms into resilience. This process is the refining fire, shaping you into someone who can hold the frequency consistently without collapsing under the weight of old beliefs. Embodiment is where the theory becomes lived truth, where you stop studying vibration and start being it. It is not just about moments of meditation or visualization, but about how you carry yourself in every ordinary action. Embodiment means your posture, your voice, your choices, and your energy all communicate the frequency of the reality you've claimed. You no longer shift only in your mind but in your body, training your nervous system to recognize the new vibration as its natural state. Each time you respond differently than you would have before, each time you choose alignment over old habits, you ground the signal more deeply. Embodiment is not performance, it is integration. The version of you who once reached for proof begins to dissolve, and in its place stands someone who doesn't need convincing, because they are already living the signal. This constancy is what turns vibration into reality. It no longer feels like trying to attract something outside of you, but like living from a wholeness that naturally reflects outward. Embodiment is the moment the field has no choice but to respond, because your being leaves no room for contradiction. Alignment is the point where your inner world and outer actions stop contradicting each other, where your energy, beliefs, and behaviors finally move in the same direction. You may think of alignment as balance, but it is deeper than that. It is resonance. When you are aligned, the way you think, feel, and act flows from the same frequency, creating a signal that the universe can easily mirror back. Misalignment often happens when you desire one thing but behave in ways that reinforce the opposite, such as dreaming of peace while engaging in constant chaos or longing for love while closing yourself off emotionally. Alignment requires honesty with yourself, a willingness to release patterns that contradict the vibration you want to hold. It also requires presence, because the moment you drift into autopilot, you often slip back into old frequencies. Alignment is felt more than thought. It feels like ease, like moving with the current rather than against it. The more you practice noticing your state and realigning in small, consistent ways, the stronger the signal becomes. The universe doesn't respond to scattered energy. It responds to coherence, and alignment is the practice that brings your frequency into that state. Manifestation is not about creating something from nothing, but about collapsing a possibility into reality by embodying its frequency. Every potential already exists in the field, waiting for coherence to draw it closer. You are not forcing life to give you something new. You are tuning into the version of reality where what you desire already exists. Manifestation becomes difficult when you see it as reaching outward rather than shifting inward. The truth is, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are consistently vibrating. This is why persistence matters, not because the universe is testing you, but because your nervous system needs time to stabilize in the new frequency. When you maintain the vibration of abundance, opportunities for abundance reveal themselves. When you hold the frequency of love, people who match that love cross your path. The outer world rearranges itself as a mirror of your inner coherence. Manifestation is less about effort, and more about allowing, less about control, and more about resonance. The more you live as though it is already yours, the more quickly reality bends to reflect the signal you have chosen to sustain.